The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is October 31st, 2018. And this week, Spookspiracy updates and angles. My name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. I guess this is the Spooky Podcast where we talk about spooky news podcast with spooky views. All right.
That's good. Spooky news with spooky views. Happy Reformation Day, everybody. That's what we're celebrating here. Not,
right. Not candy.
Not the devil's birthday.
Yeah, not the devil's candy.
Not candy.
Yep.
Not the... What is that? Methamphetamines? What is the devil's candy? Okay. So we're having fun today, everybody. Today we're gonna go through Gonz. We're gonna have quite
You're
a few
gonna go
updates.
through me.
A lot
I don't know.
Fun.
You do go through me sometimes on these podcasts.
Spooky ghost, Basil. Okay.
Sorry.
Time to get serious. This is a serious news show.
Yep.
Speaking of serious news, we have a flippy update, everybody. That's right. The robots are taking over the world. First, it started with flipping burgers. Then they started making pizza. Then they started making chicken nuggets and things like that. Just a quick update. Flippy's going corpo, baby. That's right. Pizza Hut has invested and is unveiling their own version of what we like to so affectionately call another member of the Flippy family, because we all remember the original food preparation robot, the robots that's going to care for our needs when we are no longer able to do it for ourselves. Pizza Hut unveiled their new pizza-making robot at the Las Vegas Auto Show for some unexplained reason. Also, in Flippy updates, in Norway, a robot will soon be delivering people's mail. That's right. In a world in which email, Twitter DMs, WhatsApp, and disappearing Snapchat messages all exist, traditional pen and paper mail, sometimes called snail mail, is just so last century. What better way to bring it up to date than weirdly written? I feel like this article is written by a robot. Than by using a robot to deliver your letters and packages. That's what citizens in Norway will soon be able to experience thanks to a deal between Posten Norge and Norwegian Postal Service, an automation company, Buddy Mobility. That's right. That's the end of the update. They're going to get their mail with robots, which makes a lot of sense.
Oh, they're gonna have robot arms all over the place, moving and maneuvering and carrying things and handing things off, and I mean, someone's gonna get hurt.
These robots are gonna get beat up by gangs of Norwegian children roaming the streets for sure. You cannot set government property just loose onto the streets without some serious vandalism issues. At least that's what would probably happen if it was the U.S.
And if you hack into the system, it's going to take over a bunch of robot, arms handing the mail. It's crazy. It's a little.
What if you're in a situation, with not to be a downer here on our Reformation Day episode, but when you have situations like bombs, whether they are real or hoaxed, whichever way it goes, being delivered by a robot. I mean, I guess that's safer. I think this is all safer for human beings, with the exception of the economic cost of putting all those loyal and hardworking postal workers out of business.
Or when they grab your arm instead of the pizza on accident and throw you across the car thing there that's delivering pizza.
Yes, the postal pizza delivery. So there you go. Flippy he's had an extraordinary week. He's got more pizza making capabilities and now soon delivering your mail. Which,
all of this is just an extension of the human being, because ultimately the message Flippy and the race of Flippy.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
That's true. That's absolutely true. I wonder if there will be any defense mechanisms worked into that robot to defend from dogs or snow. It's Norway. There's going to be so much snow. They're going to have to put these mail delivering robots on tank tracks just to get through all the snow.
Where are the Vikings from?
How are you?
From Norway?
Yeah. Just a little factoid you wanted to clear up.
I don't know. Are we on a delay? Is there a delay going on?
I feel like there might be a little bit of a delay. But, Gons, do you remember that woman? We reported on, it must have been a year or two ago. Hold on. Are you there?
Yeah.
I think we are on a pretty bad delay.
Yeah, because I talk and it takes a while for you to hear it. Okay, so moving on here. We have a quick 4 Horsemen update. This is timeinc.net.
Do we have a 4 Horsemen jingle?
We do. Hey, by the way, the jingle board is back.
Yeah, we got the jingle board back, everybody. So we're gonna do
Anytime you see the 4 Horsemen, it's something special.
Just step all over you.
Yeah, I forget the charm of the soundboard where it just interrupts me every time
because I think you're done, and it's like no, he was not done. Just overpower.
Well, we've got the soundboard back, everybody, so we're back to having fun on the show, and Gons is empowered yet again to interrupt my rants and my funny jokes. But that's okay. 4 Horsemen update. Give it to me, Gons.
Well, I am having trouble getting to this website here because it is asking for EU data subject request. I'm getting some blockage. Hang on one second. Let's see if I
turn off all your blockers.
All right, here we go.
You're probably the most blocked internet user.
Me?
Yeah,
that's true. Jeff Bezos just set the record for the amount of money a person has lost in 2 days. And that's
wow.
all I can see in this article right now, but it is true.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Jeff Bezos is still the world's richest person, but he's a lot closer to number 2 Bill Gates than just a few months ago. The Amazon.com Inc. founder lost $19.2 billion over the last 2 days.
Yikes. That's the annual GDP for a small to mid-sized country.
That is ridiculous. In 2 days. And the craziest thing about this is for him, he's, he loses 19 billion and he's like, he's fine.
He's still, he's still the richest man in the world. He's, that loss took him from 167.7 billion early last month to the most recent report, 128.1 billion, which is a little bit more than 20 million. That's a little under 30 billion in 1 month.
Just think. Imagine 3 days ago, someone goes to Jeff Bezos and say, "Hey, tomorrow you're going to lose, and then 2 days you're going to lose $20 billion. Use it. What do you think he'd do? You think he'd pay off student loans or something?
He'd probably donate to Canary Cry News Talk, everybody. He'd head over to patreon.com/CCNT and get access to our extended reports come out every week. Double the Canary Cry News Talk. That's what he would probably do if he knew. But, like the rest of us, he can't tell the future. But, it's nice to know that he can take a $20 billion hit, which I believe is the number it would take to build a house for every homeless person in America. And he can just lose it in 2 days and literally receive nothing for it. So that's
no
nice
real
to
consequence for Jeff Bezos.
Look, I know there's subtleties in the economics of that. I'm not saying it's as easy as building a bunch of houses, but a bunch of houses is better than no houses. Okay. Moving on, Gons. Speaking of spookiness, I was going to say, speaking of the beast system, because I just so badly want to hear that jingle, but this has nothing. Well, nah, everything has to do with the beast system.
does.
But do you remember? It must have been. It probably was last Reformation Day that we reported on this woman. But this is from news4sanantonio.com. So I think this is from Texas. Local establishment in Texas. Woman claiming to have relations with 20 ghosts is engaged to a spirit.
Huh?
That's right. Yeah. Amethyst Realm. This is the one we reported on before, where she says she gets around with the ghosts. But now,
okay, you put that. She gets around with the ghosts.
I'm very uncomfortable with these types of topics, but that's my own issue. Realm, she said she was taking a walk when the ghost first approached her. They've been in love ever since. Quote, I want to marry and have a baby with a ghost, Realm said. And it says they consummated the engagement in an airplane restroom. So that's, I am ever more uncomfortable.
They could at least you find some privacy.
I don't want to think about it anymore. So there you go. She's we used to think she was just going a little wild, but she's 30 now. She's ready to settle down,
taking it to the next level.
No, this is a very troubled person. It's fun to make fun of, but it's very disturbing.
It is a little disturbing. But this sort of thing. Yeah, I think a lot of people are being more accepting and susceptible to this type of claim. And
we're so open now. Our society is so open to love takes many forms, even if it's with a ghost, and by extension, some sort of demonic entity, probably, which is nothing new. But it's in the mainstream news. San Antonio, Channel 4, keeping us on the pulse.
Well, think about what imagination is doing to the digital realm that we always talk about. And how it's bridging the gap between someone who is seeing these things and interacting with them, presumably without any kind of technology, or at least I don't know. I guess that's an assumption, but we don't know what exactly is going on. But more of the supernatural, paranormal side of things, and then the digital side, the virtual side of people getting really into games and characters and stuff like that. There's a little overlap there, but.
Yeah, or at least being open to sort of supernatural phenomena and explaining them with the sort of fun Casper the Friendly Ghost sort of explanation instead of, a fallen dark being who is trying to accomplish some sort of nefarious ends. But there you go.
Well, obviously the other part of it is the Genesis 6 overtone, or I guess it is an overtone. Well, I was going to say undertone, but
overtone works.
Overtone.
Yeah, I mean, she says right here, "I want to marry and have a baby with a ghost." At least she has the order right. She's not having a ghost baby out of wedlock.
Yeah, but what's that look like? Is it? I mean, it's
getting
into some. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's getting into it's getting into some pretty bold claims there. She gets pregnant and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like scientifically, what are they going to start doing? It's going to be really interesting to see if this develops into anything. But yeah.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure when the next October 31st rolls around, we will get another update, because that's when this type of clickbait really makes the rounds.
Spookier. It'll be spookier next year.
It's the spooky update with Amethyst Realm. Okay. Tell me what's next. Tell me about something. Tell me about like a robot takeover or something. Oh, here we go. Speaking of the beast system.
Speaking of the beast system. Beast system.
Yeah.
That wasn't the
me.
soundboard. That tripped me out. I was like, whoa, that was weird.
I know. I'm trying to trick you. Okay, you want to do this? You want to tell us about Sophia, or you want me to?
Well, I'll do it. Forbes.com. Okay. AI humanoid Sophia is granted first ever robot visa, speaks with president. And the images that they have for Sophia every time gets a little bit weirder, a little bit creepier.
She's getting creepier and creepier looking.
Well, like
you would think that they would like improve upon her kind of, uncanny valley feel, but no, it just gets worse and worse.
She looks like the androids from Dragon Ball.
She looks like she's had a facelift.
They need to give her hair. Why do they have to have like the I am a robot head like thing going on with the?
It is, yes, it is. I think that's the whole uncanny valley thing. You don't want her to look like she's trying too hard, although they have already failed at that. but yeah,
I'm a humanoid robot, but I don't want to mistake anybody for being human.
So Sophia, the humanoid robot, she was granted citizenship in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
She's really the pioneer of the personhood of robots, which is a topic we've been talking about for a number of years now, about a half a decade. And, it's something we're going to need to keep an eye out for, because the discussion of personhood obviously now is including many animals, at least like animals of certain intelligence levels, gaining what were formerly known as human rights, but some sort of legal rights, I guess now, and legal representation as a person. And now Sophia, again, blazing the trail for the robot hordes who are going to come over and take all of our jobs.
Well, that and they're going to be, really is. So, as I put Age of Deceit 3 together, one of the things that Patrick Wood discusses is a guy named Prag Khanna, who's like a technocracy, I guess, a technocracy guy. Technocrat, thank you. And anyway, he says that the system is the leader. They're not really looking for a worldly leader, although, we know that something like that will take place in the future. But they believe that the system itself is the leader. So they need figures like Sophia that people can rally around. Because really, an AI is a corporate being placed out there as a sort of representative,
right?
But it's interesting because in the article here it talks about Sophia visiting the organized UN Public Service Award thing, the ASAN, the Azerbaijan Service and Assessment Network. This is a service center where a person can register a birth, death, marriage, or divorce, obtain a passport, renew a driver's license, register a business, obtain free legal consultation, line up medical or translation services, and much more. And then it says, when Hanson Robotics asked if the next stop on Sophia's global tour could be Azerbaijan, Asan jumped at the opportunity. So basically, Sophia is going to be running through this system, this Asan thing, the entire... she's kind of the face of like this whole, network digital identity system.
Well, so yeah, this article was basically a big native ad for this new system in Azerbaijan, which is they have centralized pretty much all of the sort of publicly available government legal systems. You get your driver's license, you get your visa, you get your everything. It's all through this one electronic sort of bureau. And Asan in the language over there in Azerbaijan is means easy. So it's meant to all be easy. And I think this was a stunt. It's so easy. Even a robot could do it. Even this dumb artificial intelligence can do it.
They made her smile in one of the pictures, which is got an extra.
She's always smiling.
Yeah, but like a different, like a bigger smile.
Yeah,
they're trying.
Yep. So there you go. Okay, we should get on to this last article here, but there you go. We're tracking Sophia, making sure that she's legally entering countries. She's not a. If she wants to claim to be a person, she needs to go through the correct legal protocols.
Well, she might be able to get in on asylum because, there's a lot of people that are against the robot AI takeover.
That's true. There's whole podcasts devoted to protecting us from the robot takeover. We're going to be considered like racist sometime soon. Like, look how these guys spoke out against AI for a decade. They have a long history of
hate speech.
Hate speech against robots. That's not true. We love Flippy. I have a robot friend. I can't hate
You're
robots.
Look, I have an Alexa. They're like, that's from 2000. What is it? Probably like 16 or 17 or something.
I still have my 2 Amazon dots still in the box, staring at me.
They're not alive. They don't have the lifeblood of electricity running through
No,
them.
they're just the little ones. They're called dots. It's Alexa, though. It's like Alexa Mini.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get on to our last article here.
Okay.
This one is the one we kind of wanted to chat about.
Yeah.
Considering all of the big news events, we've got the pipe bomber, we've got the synagogue shooting, all these things, and we wanted to open up a window into what's sort of being reported by the mainstream, and we just need to, we want to make sure that we address these things and don't just say like, oh, thanks Obama for saying we're crazy. But it's important to keep all this in mind, because depending on how the elections go, depending how the future goes here, it's something a lot of the listeners hear, not to say that we've got a bunch of radicalized, people here, but there may be a time when listening to programs like ours, and we're trying to head this off at the pass, not for any other reason other than we truly believe in what we're about to say, and that is that we can't. Radicalization in a violent manner is the complete opposite of what we should be focusing our attention and strategies on as people who are awake and on the fringe and followers of Jesus all at the same time. So I'm going to just start reading through this, and then we can have a conversation about it.
Sure.
It's kind of long, so I'm going to jump around a little bit. Little makes sense when it comes to the massacre of 11 worshipers in a Pittsburgh synagogue on Saturday. But after media identified the suspect, Robert D. Bowers, and duly excavated his apparent social media postings, there was at least a hint of what was in his mind. By his own account, he was acting in the grip of an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. In this, Bowers resembles the man who allegedly mailed pipe bombs to more than a dozen public figures last week, and whose purported social media accounts were similarly awash in delusions of shadowy forces scheming at oppression. Their experiences were in keeping with those of extremists the world over. Where terrorists strike, whether it's a lone extremist or a band of attackers, the perpetrators frequently embrace some kind of conspiratorial thinking, and anti-Semitism is a malevolent recurring theme. For jihadists, it's the belief that Islam is under attack by a Judeo-Christian West. For neo-Nazis, it's the belief that Jews are secretly controlling the world governments and oppressing the, quote, white race. Where there is no single path to radicalization, and in most cases, the destination is not violence. But there are patterns that do show up among individual violent extremists and terrorist groups, and the presence of conspiracy theories is a significant one. So right there, there's a couple of interesting things I want to bring up in this. Obviously, they're saying, conspiratorial thinking is a huge part not only of neo-Nazis, but of ISIS or Islam. So you've got, what would seem to be two different sides of some sort of paradigm, but in the view of, sort of a leftist leaning, a politically left media, neo-Nazis and Islam are sorry, not Islam, but jihadists like ISIS, are on the same.
The circles overlap where conspiracy theories are.
Right. It's not so much a continuum. It's just they're kind of lumped in together.
Right.
Which in the definition of extremism may happen to be true. But what I thought was very interesting is this sentence that said there's no single path to radicalization, and in most cases, the destination is not violence. So my question here is, my understanding, at least my cultural understanding of radicalization, did inherently include violence. Like without violence, I probably wouldn't call it radicalization. Right. I think that's where you cross the line. But apparently they're crossing the line, or they're drawing the line,
at conspiracy theories
further in. Yeah. Just having the thoughts that, there's some cabal controlling the world, or just stuff going on that isn't like mainstream knowledge, I guess. That's enough to be radicalized.
You're radical. You're just not violent yet, and that'll be kind of a stigma.
Yeah, which is disturbing to me.
Yeah, that's a really horrible label to just place on people that happen to critically think about society.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's like, this is like a thought police type of situation where no longer do you actually have to commit a crime to be considered a criminal. Which, you know, there's obvious problems with that. I don't need to beat that dead horse.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read on here.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh suspect's reported claim that he was acting to prevent the, quote, slaughter of his people at the hands of immigrants he thought were being brought to the United States by a Jewish refugee agency, for example. He echoed the reasoning of another attacker who targeted a house of worship, Dylan Roof, who killed 9 in a Charleston church in 2015, expressed similar anxieties about a white race overwhelmed by immigration in a manifesto he posted online. More typos. The more I read out loud these articles, the more typos I find. It's very disappointing. So did Anders Breivik, who killed 77 people, including many children, at a summer camp in Norway in 2011. So it's very interesting. They're kind of crossing the internet. Sure. What ties these cases together is the chilling and warped logic. The chilling and warped
Okay, we're going to
logic.
stop it there. Basil keeps going, and the rest of the conversation about what he was talking about there we'll have in the extended report. But Basil, we're doing some time travel here, and you're going to wrap yourself up.
Yes, sorry about that, everybody. I just got really passionate. I didn't look at the time. So if you want to catch the second half of my rant, as well as we're talking about how your life's data means a version of you could live forever, as well as researchers in China making shape-shifting robots. Creepy. And I also do a very dramatic reading of the novel What is it called? One the Road.
Which was the number novel, one, not one.
Yeah,
like I'm a winner.
Right. Number one, The Road, written by an artificial intelligent neural network. So if you want to get all that, you can head over to patreon.com/CCNT. That's patreon.com/CCNT. You can sign up for all sorts of rewards over there, including bonus episodes, the Canary Cry News Talk Extended Report, where you can get all sorts of fun stuff. And there's a huge backlog there. So hours and hours and hours of more Canary Cry News Talk. Go get it. And if you haven't yet, if you got friends out there who are still paying attention to the mainstream media, or even the main alternative media, which is a coin I just termed.
Oh, main
That's
alternative
right.
media, huh?
Yeah, why don't you let them know about Canary Cry News Talk? That's right, go out and rattle some cages.
We have to evolve.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Let it ride!
That's right. We don't advertise on this show, nor do we advertise our show anywhere else. The only way this spreads is by you guys telling your friends about it. So if you want to give something fun to your friends for this spooky season, you can send them this episode, and we would really appreciate that. Again, remember, patreon.com/CCNT to get the extended reports, and make sure to tune in next time. But remember to think outside the cage.